It was a brilliant moonlight night, but extremely cold. Our chaise dashed on merrily, the crisp snow crunching under the wheels. I had been invited to spend the Christmas holidays at Bracebridge Hall, the residence of my friend and old family seat in Yorkshire. We had not travelled far before a carriage, drawn by 4 horses, drew up behind us. A young man of about 30, with a hale, florid countenance, popped his head out of the window and, on seeing my friend, Frank Bracebridge, hailed him with a shout. In a moment, the postilions of the 2 carriages were cracking their whips and galloping side by side. The young man, whose name was Master Simon, insisted we join him in his carriage, and soon we were all seated together. Our journey was enlivened by Master Simon's stories of the family festivities at the hall. He spoke of the parson, a learned little man, and the squire himself, a true old English gentleman. As we neared the estate, the sound of music from the village reached our ears. Master Simon explained that the villagers were practicing their Christmas carols. He himself was a self-taught musician and the leader of the church choir, and was eager to get home to put them through their final rehearsal. Soon we saw the lights of the hall gleaming through the trees. The coachman blew a triumphant blast on his horn, which was answered by the distant barking of dogs. An old grey-headed servant, in the family livery, opened the gate. As we drove up to the house, the sound of music burst upon us. The servants, tenants and villagers were all gathered in the great hall, dancing and making merry. The squire, a fine, healthy-looking old gentleman, stood in the midst of them, his face beaming with delight. He gave me a hearty welcome, saying that Christmas was a time for friendship and good cheer, too. He was a great advocate for old customs, and was determined to keep them alive. The great hall was decorated with holly and ivy. A huge fire blazed in the fireplace, casting a warm glow over the scene. The parson, a small, sleek-headed man with a gentle, humble demeanour, was there, as was the mischievous Master Simon, who seemed to be everywhere at once, leading the dances and jokes. Suddenly, a loud, discordant blast from a horn announced the arrival of the village waits, a band of rustic musicians. They played a few traditional airs, then launched into a carol. The squire listened with evident pleasure, tapping his foot in time with the music. After the carol, the squire ordered a servant to bring out a large silver tankard of ale for the musicians. They drank his health with a hearty cheer, and then departed, their music fading into the distance. As the evening wore on, the general joy became more and more boisterous. The squire, however, maintained a serene and smiling countenance. He seemed to feel a fatherly delight in the happiness of those around him. When the dancing ended, the great Yule clog was brought in. This was a massive log, destined for the fireplace. Its entrance was a signal for renewed merriment. The squire told stories of ancient Christmases and the superstitions surrounding the Yule clog. Supper was served in the great hall. The table groaned under the weight of pies, roast beef, and other Christmas delicacies. The parson said a long grace, and then we all fell to with hearty appetites. Master Simon was in his element, telling jokes and playing tricks on the parson. The squire, meanwhile, entertained me with anecdotes of his ancestors. He pointed to the portraits on the walls, telling me tales of their deeds in peace and war. After supper, we gathered around the fire. The squire proposed a toast to a Merry Christmas. The night was spent in telling ghost stories, a tradition he cherished. The old house, with its dark corners and long winding passages, was the perfect setting for such tales. The wind howled outside, and the firelight cast strange flickering shadows on the walls. The stories grew more and more terrifying, until even the bravest among us began to feel a chill. Finally, as the clock struck midnight, we retired to our rooms, our minds filled with a pleasant mix of holiday cheer and ghostly fancies, leaving the embers of the Yule clog to glow through the silent Christmas Eve.